Hello student, as you know that this is the second lecture of is matter around a sphere, which is the chapter first according to your syllabus. Dear student, in this chapter today we will discuss about compound. Okay, dear student, a compound is formed when two or more elements combine together in definite means fixed proportions by weight. The formed compound, the formed substance is known as compound. Dear student, a compound is a substance which is formed when two or more elements combine together in fixed proportions by weight. Dear student, as like water. In water, water is a compound because water have the fixed mass ratio, which is the 2:16, and the simple ratio is 1:8. Dear student, waters which is obtained from by any methods, but their compositions by mass always 1:8 or 2:16. Okay, so we say that the compound is formed when two or more elements combine together in definite means fixed proportions by weight. Okay, dear student, always remembers a compound can only be decomposed, means dissociate by chemical actions into two or more simpler substances. Dear student, always remembers a compound break into their constituent into simpler substance from which they made only by the action of chemical, not by the physical or mechanical method. Okay, dear student, here some compounds are given. First is CaO, that is calcium oxide, which is also commonly known as lime. Okay. H2O, H2O is a compound which is known as water. NH3, that is ammonia. CO2, that is carbon dioxide gas. CaCO3 is the formula of calcium carbonate, that is known as chalk. HCl is the formula of hydrochloric acid. NH4Cl, that is the formula of ammonium chloride. These are the compounds because these are made from the different type of elements in their definite proportions. Okay, so we say that these are the compound. Dear student, now discuss the properties of compound. What is the properties of compound? Dear student, a compound can not be separated into the constituent element by mechanical and physical method. Dear student, always remember this compound cannot be separated into their constituent as like calcium oxide made from the calcium and oxygen. If we use physical or mechanical method, they cannot separate into calcium and oxygen. Water cannot be separated into hydrogen and oxygen. Ammonia cannot be separated into nitrogen, hydrogen. Carbon dioxide cannot be separated into carbon and oxygen. Calcium carbonate cannot be separated into calcium, carbon and oxygen by the mechanical and physical method. It can be separated only with the chemical method, only by the action of chemicals. Okay, do not by the action of physical or mechanical process. Okay, we cannot separate the compound into their simpler substance into their constituent particle by the physical method or mechanical method. It only can be separated by the action of chemicals. Okay, dear students, the properties of compound differ from its constituent element. Dear student, you know that hydrogen is a combustible fuel and oxygen support to the combustion. But always remember, when hydrogen and oxygen combine to each other, it formed water. It formed water. Dear student, this water are used for fire extinguisher. So we say that the properties of water is different to their constituent from which it made. Okay. Always remember, the properties of compound are different from its constituent from which they are made. Okay. Dear student, now discuss here when compound formed. Dear student, when compound formed, energy is released or absorbed in the form of heat or light during the chemical reaction. Dear student, for example here, when hydrogens combine with oxygen, when reaction between the hydrogen and oxygens occurs and in the formation of water, during the formation of water, the bond between hydrogen's cleavage and bond between oxygen cleavage and a new bond formed between the oxygen and hydrogen. Dear student, in the formation of bond, energy release. In the breaking of bond, energy absorbed. Dear student, always remember. So we say that in the breaking of bond, energy absorbed. In the formation of new bond, energy released. So we say that in a chemical process, in a chemical reaction, during the chemical reaction, when compound is formed, energy released or absorbed in the form of heat or light. Okay. Dear student, now in compound, the constituent element are present in definite proportions by weight. Dear student, which is discussed here. In a compound like water, in this compound, hydrogen, oxygen are present. The constituent particles is hydrogen and oxygen. They are in the definite proportions by mass. The definite proportions by proportions of the hydrogen and oxygen in water is 1:8. Dear student, compound have fixed melting and boiling point. Always remember, a compound have the fixed melting boiling point. Dear student, as like water, you know that water is a compound, that is H2O. Dear student, you know that water boil only at the 100 degrees Celsius if water is pure. And water if in the form of ice, it melt only at above the 0 degrees Celsius. It means we say that compound have fixed definite melting and boiling point. Okay. If compound are pure, then it's have the fixed melting and boiling point. Okay. Dear student, now compare elements in compound. Dear student, a element cannot be split into their two or more different substances, but a compound can be split into two or more different substances. Dear student, for example, when we flow electricity here in water, it convert into hydrogen and oxygen gas. Means here H2O is a compound which is split into their constituent, that is the hydrogen and oxygen. But H is an element, it cannot be split because it is the single constituent particle. It is made from the single type of particles. Okay. That's right. Now here, elements formed from the atom of the same kinds of element. Means like here, H2, Cl2, O2, N2. These are the elements because they form by the combining same types of element. But H2O, NH3, CaCO3 is a compound because it form atom of different kind like hydrogen and oxygen, water, NH3 nitrogen and hydrogen, calcium carbonate calcium carbon and oxygen. They form the different type of the atoms. Okay, element always formed by the same kinds of atom. Just one, I think you understand well about to the compound and the properties of compound and the difference between elements in compound. In next lecture we will discuss about the mixture. Write the lectures which is given on the board in your notebook and solve the question related to this topic. Thank you very much. कितने मिनट